New theme song. Happy Sunday, everybody. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I have numerous things to share with you. Today, we're going to be talking about home prices. It seems like some areas are seeing an adjustment in price. We do have a special guest today. His name is Sean Connors, and he happens to be one of my favorite real estate agents up north. So, Sean Connors, welcome to the stream.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Can you hear me?
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Is it your
Love
birthday?
it. It is not my birthday. Thanks for having me.
Oh, there we go. There it is.
There we go. I like that
one. Eddie used the wrong sound effect.
No worries. That's great. I didn't even know you could do sound effects. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, Sean, I'm going to show you this new thing that I have, and everybody in the audience will be able to participate in something really cool and very new. So,
cool.
Let me pull it up on the screen, pull it up, and I'm going to have everybody listen to this. So I've always wanted to do a live call-in show, but there's so many issues with that. You know, you got to do the screening beforehand and everything else. So while we were at this conference, I ended up talking to somebody where I have an answering system now that will take your calls. This is still in a beta kind of like we're just testing it out. So I want everybody to hear how this is going to go. So you would call this 888 number. We're going to call it right now. I'm going to show you how it works.
Oh, we're calling it live?
Yeah, we're going to call it live.
This is Kristina Smallhorn. Thanks for calling into my live stream. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
Kristina.
All right, Kristina. Can you tell me which city and state you're calling from?
Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Great, thanks. What's your question for the live stream?
What are interest rates doing in the housing market right now?
That's a great question, Kristina. I'll make sure to get it answered on the next live stream. Thanks for calling in. See you on the live stream. Goodbye.
So it's an AI-driven answering service. I'm going to take the audio of your question that you asked, and I'm going to play it next week, next Sunday. So that way you guys can ask your questions. If you ask a question that isn't real estate related, the AI will say, I'm sorry, can we please stick to being a real estate related question?
Nice.
And it will prompt you to make sure that you stay on task of real estate related. So if you're trying to like bypass it, you know, because you want to ask another question, just say, hey, in the real estate market, like, what is the name of your cat? You know, so we'll try to do that. So, Eddie, do you have the phone number that people can call so they could test it? Because honestly, this is all brand new. It's run by AI. I do not know how it's going to work. I'm hoping that it's going to work. So I'm hoping that you guys in the audience can test it out for me. Just know that there's a lot of little bugs along the way. We're working this out. So yeah, so Eddie's got the if you want to be live and you want to hear your voice on the stream, the number is 888-255-0199. 888-255-0199. So you can leave a message and I can start listening to your messages. And then, like I said, I'll take the audio out and I'll play your question with your voice live, you know, and you'll hear your name. And then
That's so cool.
I think that's a great idea.
That's
awesome. Like I said, I really wanted to do some kind of live call-in show, but the amount of time that it would take to hire somebody to screen those callers, make sure that they're, you know, legitimate and go through all of that would just take too much time. And I just don't have the resources for that. So this was like my workaround. And I just thought it would be really cool, especially since the audience, some of my audience members have been with me since day one. Lawnmower is one of them. So I just wanted to be able to provide that for everybody. I thought it was very cool. So anyways, we are talking about home prices coming down. And, you know, before we get in the article, are home prices coming down in your area? You're in Westchester, right?
Yeah, well, I'm in Westchester, PA, and the prices aren't really coming down at all. It's still been like, it's not crazy, but it is, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. Like, to me,
Yeah.
I'm numb to it now.
Uh-huh.
I'm at a point where I'm just like, wow, I cannot believe that that house is listed for 725,000. Wow, I cannot believe that house sold for 725,000 and it needs a kitchen and it needs bathrooms and it's just like, what is it's not showing any signs really of slowing down anytime soon. Which kind of stinks.
So, do you think that's because of a supply issue? Have you had not a lot of new construction in your area?
No, not at all. So we still have a very, very, very like small amount of inventory compared to where it should be or where it needs to be. And
Mhm.
new construction is not even coming close to keeping up with demand. It's like, first off, anytime there's any signs or you see a piece of land, like a big piece, because I'm in an area where there's a lot of farmland. And
Mhm.
for whatever reason, these farms or these big pieces of land, they get sold to developers.
Mhm.
So every single person who lives in the area, they cry and complain about it. It's like the end of the world. Oh my God, Chester County is getting way too congested. Everyone cries, everyone complains, and it's just like, well, what's for sale? Look at what's for sale. There is nothing for sale. I'm so
Mhm.
tired of seeing these ugly townhomes pop up. I'm so tired of Ryan Homes and Toll Brothers and DR Horton. I'm like, I get it, but look, it's just the simple fact that there are not nearly as many homes for sale as the amount of people who want to buy here. It's not even close.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's why up in the
Hmm.
Northeast, you guys have had the hardest time with home prices actually coming down. But an article did come out from realtor.com about the home prices, and we're going to go over that today. Did you read it?
I did.
Did you read it?
I
Eddie's going to
did.
go ahead and put that on the screen, and we're going to talk about home prices because home prices here in Louisiana, they're coming down. They're coming down.
Well,
And
that's good.
if you live in New Orleans, they're coming down even more. So, all right, Eddie, scroll down because I cannot read that, my friend. Ooh, let me put on these handy dandy glasses because I can't read anything. Eduardo, are you going to scroll down the article? There we go.
There you go.
All right, yeah. Home price cuts reach highest level in 5 years, hence the reason for this name of the title of this video. As sellers show patience and modesty. Really?
That's
The usually
funny.
hot summer housing market whittled last month, likely due to the continued heat of the stubbornly high mortgage rates. And that could be great news for home buyers. A new report by Realtor.com found that the number of homes actively for sale in August was 36.2%, higher than the year prior, making the 10th consecutive month of growth. Yay! Unless you live in Westchester County or Westchester, Pennsylvania. All right. That means the number of listings that is now at its highest level since May of 2020, says Realtor.com. Buyers have not only more choices in general, but also bargain friendly homes to consider. In August, 19.3% of listings saw price reductions, the highest amount in August since August 2018, which is welcome for new buyers weary of sticker shock. I think most of this is coming from like Florida and Austin, Texas, though.
Yeah, it and
Mm.
that's what I was saying on one of the last videos I was doing, that when you read this, like, especially at the top where it says the new
Mhm.
report, actively homes actively for sale in August was 36.2% higher than the year prior. People
Mhm.
see that and they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's up 36.2." What they
Right.
don't really realize is the fact that last year it was down so much.
It was
So it's
ridiculous.
like people, yeah, they see 36.2 and they're like, "Oh my gosh, more homes are coming to the market," but it's still like the inventory here, it's not even, I wouldn't even say it's half of what it was prior to the pandemic. It's still less than half of where it was. So when people see 36.2, they automatically think, "Oh my gosh, prices are going to shoot down." And then another piece of that is they say it's marking the 10th consecutive month of growth. Well, that's great, but like it still hasn't even caught up. It hasn't even gotten close to catching up to where it was prior to the pandemic.
Right. And then when people say like home prices in Florida are dropping like a rock or whatever, that a lot of that has to do with condominiums and the HOAs in there. It isn't your single family homes, it's those condos that are bringing their with the median price home down. It's not
Yeah.
it's not your single family home. So that's something to be aware of as well.
Right.
What does this all reveal about the state of the housing market? Buyers might be gaining the upper hand. Again, market depends on the market you're in.
Mhm.
A growth in number of homes on the market has rising. Share of price cuts indicate that today's housing market isn't as heavily tipped towards sellers as it had been in recent years. I do agree with that. Sellers are more willing to negotiate than they were in years past. Sellers
Right.
are increasingly showing patience and modesty, something buyers haven't much experience in the past post-pandemic housing market. High mortgage rates have slowed the housing market considerably over the last summer months as buyers and sellers alike pumped the brakes and bided their time in hopes the rates would fall, and they have. So I mean, we're in a good. If you're a home buyer right now, you're in a good position, a better position than you were a year ago at this time. Rates are coming down some.
Absolutely.
Home prices are
Yeah.
coming down in a lot of areas. You have more negotiating power. Sellers are more willing to uh, not they're more flexible than they were in years past. Like
Right.
I I don't know how many sellers were like, "Oh no, you can have an inspection, but we're not going to fix anything." And that made me like
Mhm.
nauseated.
Not now. Yeah, we definitely are seeing that happen
Mhm.
though. Like with home inspections, they for sure are coming back. And then when I read that and I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, mortgage rates fell. That's right. They're at 6.35%. And with these price reductions happening, you also have to consider the fact that they have gone up so much in the past
Mhm.
4 years, right?
Yeah.
And when people see that, they're like, oh, prices are coming down. That doesn't mean that they're coming down to the pre-pandemic level because that's going to be what everyone measures from here on out. They're going to say, what were home prices like pre-pandemic and now what are home prices like now?
I
So
just
in,
saw a comment that said, "Oh, I want the prices to be pre-pandemic level." I saw that one come.
yeah.
Yeah, they
And
do.
I know, I get it. It's and so do I at sometimes, especially working
Yeah.
with some buyers. And it's like, barring any major catastrophe,
Mhm.
I just don't see that happening for the majority of the US. I just don't, unless I am not seeing something. And I'm not saying that from the standpoint of, "Oh, I'm just a realtor. I want everyone to overpay and all I want to do is make money." No, it's like it's basic economics, it's supply and demand.
The
That's
only
what
thing
it
that I
comes down
keep
to.
maintaining is the one thing that would bring home prices down quickly is if we had a collapse of the jobs market. So a lot of people would be forced to sell. They'd be forced sellers. Because I was
Okay.
looking at the foreclosure rate just recently, and it isn't even at pre-pandemic levels yet. It's not there yet. But
Right.
if you lost your job, you can hold on to that house for like another 3 to 6 to 9 months before it would go into foreclosure. So, like, if the jobs market starts collapsing within like that 6 to 9 month mark, you'd start seeing more foreclosures hit the market if they weren't already sold to an institutional investor before they even hit the market. So,
Yeah.
that would be the one thing that I can come up with that would bring home prices back to pre-pandemic levels, that or at least closer to it, because at this point with the lack of supply, that's what's making home prices so sticky. They're not going
Right.
anywhere.
Yeah, and that's a really good point because
Mhm.
I again, like I don't know everything. I never claim to know everything, but that's a really good point. And the other piece to the inventory puzzle, what I believe, but it's going to happen over the next years. Like it's going to take years to get back to, especially where I'm at.
Mhm.
Um, is the baby boomers selling their homes, right? They're going to be the largest pool of sellers that comes to the market, in the next 5 to 7 years.
They
And they're
anticipated this for 10 years though, Sean, and I'm telling you, instead of baby boomers selling their houses, they kept their houses and bought another house. And so they expected them to sell their houses up north and move to
Mhm.
Florida or Arizona. And then instead of doing that, they kept that house and then bought a house in Arizona and Florida or Texas or wherever. They bought multiple properties. I think
Right.
what's going to happen is they're going to give that as inherited property over to their younger generations. I don't know if they're going to actually those younger generations don't have a house, so they're going to live in it. I don't know if it's going to be this wave. They called it the silver tsunami, those silver tsunami. I don't
Yeah.
think it's going to be as bad as they say. There's this woman that calls herself the Oracle of Wall Street, and she's been predicting that for I don't know how long. Like
she's one of those crash bros.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like her claim to fame, she said, I accurately predicted the market crashing, which
Yeah.
she did that like 10 months after everybody else did. Good job.
Right. Yeah. But and then with especially with those baby boomers that are selling, that still does not help the affordable housing crisis, because a lot of the homes that I see coming up are ones that the older generation, the 55 plus, are starting to sell up here. But it doesn't help with affordable housing at all, because those homes are the ones that I'm talking about where it's needing kitchens, bathrooms, and it's still selling for 600,000 or 700,000.
Or they're
So that's
5-bedroom or 6-bedroom
yeah,
houses
they're
because
like
they
these
raised their kids.
McMansions, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, nobody wants McMansions right now. You kidding
Yeah.
me?
No, the
You
taxes
can't
and
even
the
afford it.
insurance. Yeah, the taxes and insurance alone. I mean, that's crazy. And that's
Yeah.
the other thing too with housing and affordability is that it isn't just the price. Because in a lot of cases, for a lot of people making the median income salary, right, can't afford the median priced home.
No.
And then on top of it, they couldn't afford the insurance and the taxes that go on top of that. And like people are like, oh, they're just being, they're wanting too much. They want it all for their first house. Baloney. The
No.
average age to buy a house when I was growing up was 24 years old. Now it's like 36 years old. And that's because the price of the houses have gotten so much higher that you'd have to be almost 40 years old in order to buy your very first home. That is a major disconnect. We have an affordability problem, and they're not building enough
Yeah.
smaller houses that are affordable for people to buy. Don't blame the builders though, because they're not giving them any incentive to build those smaller homes.
They're only going to build what makes them money. And
Well,
that's
yeah.
what's happening around here. Like
Mhm.
they're building single family homes in some of these areas starting in the millions. It's like, where I mean, there are the buyers for that here. I think the
Could row houses work in your area?
row houses. Well,
Yeah.
they build a lot of townhome communities, but
Mhm.
even them, I mean, sometimes they're starting at 500,000. And in Chester County, I'm in Chester County, PA, and
Mhm.
it's the wealthiest county in the state. So
Ooh.
the median household income is like, I think it's like 115 or 120,000, but the median home price is like 450. It's crazy. Actually, it could even be a little bit more now.
I'm
So
sure it's
even
more than
if yeah, even if you're in that median household income, it's still hard to afford that 450 to $500,000 house,
right. Well,
especially with the
all they have
interest
to do
rates.
is stop eating avocado toast and go to
Oh yeah, stop
go to
getting your
Starbucks. Got to
yeah,
buckle down.
exactly.
All you have to do is save more. Last week, somebody said last week, oh, well, why doesn't anybody just, the problem is you guys get mortgages. You should just buy it cash. I'm like, who has an additional
Who
like
has it? I know.
500,000 sitting in their back pocket to buy their first house? Then the average age of buying a first house would be like 60.
Right. And
So,
the issue around here too is
mhm.
not always the down payment, because a lot of people think like, oh, well, as long as you have the down. No, it's affording the mortgage as well as childcare. I mean, my daughter is in pre-K. It's $1,200 a month.
Uh, I
1,200 bucks
know.
a month.
I know.
Our one mortgage for our house, one of our properties is that, and that's
Imagine
what
having 2
daycare
kids
is.
to child imagine having 2 kids.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. So
ridiculous.
you have
So it's like
daycare, you have
$3,400 just to have kids.
exactly.
So
And then these
crazy.
car payments where I've seen people like 7, 8, $900 for a car
Nope.
payment.
Nope. Not
A
doing it.
car payment.
Mm-mm.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. So it's not just a down payment. It's like
Mhm.
how much it costs to to own the house every month on top of everything else, which is the big challenge.
Mhm. Eddie, go back to the article for me, please. With record inflation and income tax hike, increased state spending, and coming wage hikes, The economy has not been working for too many. Well, isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? If we could go back to that article, Eddie, I would greatly appreciate it. It was about the mortgages. Okay. Mortgage rates fell in August to their lowest level to 6.35. Have they come down even more? I think they've even come down a little bit more.
I think they are now.
Yeah. 18 months on lower than expected job growth in July. Yet that number might not be low enough to tempt some budget-minded buyers just yet. With expectations that the Federal Reserve to cut rates 3 times this year, it is likely some potential buyers are sidelining themselves until rates come down even further. Well, even if, like the thing is the home prices aren't gonna. It depends on the area, but okay. Let's scroll down a bit, babe. Thank you. I'm calling him babe in the background because it's my husband. So if you guys don't know that, my husband's in the background. I can call him babe. All right. Price declines. With price reductions up in August, the median home price actually fell, dropping to $4.39950. Oh my God. $439,000. That's ridiculous. Median. Yep. In July to $429,000. So it dropped $10,000. We're seeing more sellers listing homes for sale compared to with the year prior. The buildup of sellers at the same time with as many buyers pressing pause has led to a shift in the market balance, and more sellers are collaborating their price to reflect this. But despite the overall decline in the national median list price, all prices did not decrease technically. Yep, that's what we're talking about.
There it is.
A change in the mix of the inventory towards smaller houses accounted for. The typical listed this year has increased asking price compared to last year. So if you have a smaller house, it's going to be higher. Yep. Oh, we got our super chat. Landmark $2 super chat. Thank you so much for that. It says 3 home builders control 75% of the new housing market.
Super chat.
DR. What is that? That's awesome.
One of my subscribers made that.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
I know. So like, who do you think is the biggest names in home building in the United States?
DR Horton, I believe, is number 1.
Yep.
Toll Brothers.
Okay.
And Ryan Homes or Lennar.
I was thinking Lennar and KB.
I've never even heard of KB.
Maybe that's a Southern thing.
Yeah, I feel like Lennar is everywhere.
In our area, we have DSLD, and they build a good house, but they build them fast. They build them fast.
Yeah, we have some good builders here too.
Mm-hmm. But they're a tract builder. They build only like 6 or 7 floor plans in one neighborhood. You get to choose from it. You get to very much pick like just a few different options, but they crank them out, and they have this like massive, here it is. Lennar, DR Horton. Oh, Pulte Group. We don't have them here.
Yeah, I don't know of many Pulte homes around here either. But still,
I would have thought DR Horton was number 1.
Yeah, me too. They've been number 1 for a while. Is this in order?
Yeah, well, yeah. Yep, 3 largest right there in order.
Wow.
Thank you, Edward. But I do think that if here's the conundrum, and I don't know if you've ever seen that lady from Shark Tank, Barbara Corcoran.
I do. Yeah, I listen to her.
So she said that if interest rates go to 5% with a limited amount of supply that we have, those affordable houses are going to be like ones in the lower end of the market are going to be hot to trot, and we're going to watch home prices skyrocket once again. That's even very possible. Yeah. It depends on the area that you live in. So I don't see that happening, like, let's just say in Austin, Texas, because they have a lot of new builds. When during the pandemic, man, everybody and their brother was going to Texas, and those home builders were building houses like nobody's business. They were popping them out one right after another. So they have an excess of new construction. That's what happened in Florida during the last housing crisis. And that's why you saw home prices in Florida, in Central Florida, and a lot of areas around Florida that had a ton of construction, that you saw home prices sink like a rock because there was so much supply of homes that were available, brand new ones. if you live in an area like Sean does that doesn't have a lot of new construction, the supply has been tight, and interest rates even go down even more. That's going to get a lot of more home buyers off their butts, and you're going to watch those home prices go up even more. But
Yep.
I agree with her. I agree with Barbara Cochran.
Corcoran.
Thank you. I agree with her on that. It is just going to depend on your area that you live in. If it has a lot of new construction, you can count on the fact that the home prices are going to come down. If it doesn't, you're going to see home prices continue to go up.
Right.
Leona Owen has a question. It says, I'm wanting to sell my house to my daughter for the balance of the loan, which is $26,000. I'm 72, pretty healthy, but I'm concerned about a 5-year look back rule here in Texas. Ooh, you know what I would
That's
do?
interesting.
Yeah. So I would contact a real estate attorney and a financial advisor when it comes to this, because you're going to want to make it the best way you can for your daughter to purchase this and do it the right way. I know what you're saying about the 26,000, but I believe, and don't quote me on this, we should get a loan officer on here next time, but I believe that because of the amount, you're not going to be able to get a 30-year fixed rate mortgage for $26,000. It would have to be some kind of personal loan of some sort, but don't put that in writing. I would talk to a financial advisor. I would talk to a real estate attorney, and I would talk to a lender, and you guys all go together. So that way you're on the same page, but they're not going to do a 30-year mortgage for $26,000. I don't know of any lending institution that will do anything under $65,000. So just a FYI on that. But yeah, I would.
What is that 5-year look back she was talking about?
I
don't think
never
I've ever
heard of that before. Yeah.
I guess
maybe
that might be Texas specific.
Yeah, it probably is. Eddie. Oh, look. Look at this.
Eddie.
Yeah. It says, examples. This section may not reflect the most recent amounts of savings of private pay cost day. Investigation of transfer is a part of the application program transfer process. Activity during this month. I have no idea. This feels like it's reading stereo.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm reading stereo instructions. The look back period is established under federal law. The date on which the look back period is established is based on the application file date or the institutional entry date, whichever is later. Dude, I have no idea. I'm not even.
I have no idea what that's saying either.
Yeah,
that's some Chinese right there. I can't read that.
No, maybe it has to do with like Medicaid, Medicare, and your benefits and all that kind of stuff. I'm just not in that phase and stage of my life. I'm not 100% sure. I wish I could have given you a better answer. I just don't know. I need to get a financial advisor on here. Probably about 24. A lot of baby boomers are not selling, or the home they're selling is not affordable housing. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. They hold on to those houses. They love them. They're like, you know why they hold on to them? Because they were like, I bought this house for, $35,000, and now it's worth $780,000.
All they're paying is taxes and insurance. Yep.
Yeah, that's all. I paid it off 15 years ago. They love that house. They're going to hold on to it because the thing is that they can tap into that equity. If something medically goes wrong with them, or they have some kind of financial, they're destitute in some way, they can just sell that house and take out the equity into it and do something else with it. That's why they hold on to it. Yep. All right, we got a super chat. Thank you.
I love that.
Ezequiel Crespo, $5 super chat says, I don't understand why it's hard to put a cap on an HOA, homeowners insurance, and home fees and keep it at 3%. It would motivate more buyers into new homes. Oh my gosh, I'm literally filming a video about HOAs right now. So HOAs, when they're set up, typically are set up by the home builder. And in the covenants, they unintentionally keep those, well, they do intentionally keep those HOA fees very low. the point of an HOA is like a little government within the community. The city doesn't want to take care of the house itself, that neighborhood. They don't want to take care of the roads. They don't want to take care of the lights. They don't want to take care of anything that goes on there, including sewage. So over time, there's a built up of reserves that are supposed to repair these items. The homeowners want to keep those HOA fees really low, understandably, but their property taxes go up. They're paying property taxes. And then sure enough, they're faced with things that happen to the neighborhood, like their roads start collapsing, the bridge starts needing repairs. And then when they get a quote on that, they don't have enough in reserves. So then all of a sudden you're getting this bill in the mail that's saying, hey, you owe $100,000 because we have to have this fixed because we didn't save enough in reserves over the last, 15, 20, 30 years. And now people are in a big predicament. It's happening a lot with condo associations, but it's happening with the traditional home builders. The traditional homeowners as well. They're getting these bills. We have a special assessment. It's going to cost you $150,000. And, HOAs, when they were first established, they're like in 2011, there was only 11% of communities that were in HOAs. And then back in like 2023, it was like 67% of all new communities were in HOAs. It's almost unavoidable if you're going to buy a house to not be in an HOA here in the United States. And they're finding out now that, what do they say? The chickens come to roost. They're not really working out the way that they were initially intended, because like these special assessments come along and, these residents are stuck with deteriorating infrastructure because they weren't saving enough money along all those years.
HOAs are very interesting. So I own a property in an HOA, but it's a vacation destination in the Pocono Mountains, and it's a short-term rental. So the HOA is really propped up by the short-term rentals, right? So the majority of the income that comes in from the short-term rentals for this HOA really helps it to keep the fees low. So in this community that I'm in, we have pool, we have tennis courts, we have a beach, and we have a lake, and we have basketball courts and a marina. So we have all this stuff, and our fees are like $465 a year, which is extremely low, because there's other communities up there where they're like $2,000 a year, right? So it's substantially more. But yeah, I get special assessments too, and they've been doing road work for the past 3 years up there, and they just do it in stages, right? And we get these special assessments, and the HOA that I own in is much different than the HOAs that you probably talk about in Florida, right? Because these people live there full time. Mine is very small amount of people live there full time, and like we just battle back and forth about short-term rentals. That's kind of been our thing.
Well, in HOAs in every neighborhood are completely different because they're all run by different management companies. And then they've been mismanaged by management companies, and they'll siphon off as much income as they can off of people and make an excuse on why they need to take that money from people. And then sure enough, people are caught at the end, but you can't get that money back. It takes years. That's litigation. And then, you have overzealous HOAs that start suing people for stupid stuff, and then that drains their reserves. It's like the HOA system. It needs to be revised, and there needs to be a blanket way that these HOAs are run, because they can dictate anything in any HOA, right? So one neighborhood could say that you can only have a flag that this big on your lawn, and then the next neighborhood over saying that you can't have any flags on your lawn, and like there has to be some like precedent of all HOAs have to follow under these rules, and they can't levy these kinds of fines. They even will levy fines so high that they purposely drag it out so the houses are foreclosed on. Then the HOAs will buy them. They'll buy them. Yeah. They'll buy them, and then they'll sell them at top dollar, because they'll buy them because they know they're going up for auction. And they'll buy them for pennies on the dollar, and then they'll sell them for a higher price so they can get even more money. But it's run by the management company. That doesn't go back into the HOA. It's sick, right?
Kind of slimy.
Babe, call HR.
Call HR.
Yeah, HR is Eddie, you know? Yeah, I'm gonna call HR on my husband. Yep. Peel said, just checked, and home prices got worse in my area. I purchased a 950 square foot for 330,000 last year. Not next town over, smaller one. It was a 1 bedroom, 1 bath for 900 square feet and a quarter of the land for 360,000
Yeah.
sold for 2 weeks at range. Where are you at? Like what area are you in? I'll be interested to know where that is.
Yeah.
It's, like here, even in my area, even though prices have come down, if you're in that two to 300 range as far as a house, it's selling, and you're gonna get a
Oh yeah.
couple offers.
I feel like the majority of price drops are, I bet most of them are coming in urban areas, like cities, big cities.
Well, they're larger homes.
That's,
The
yeah,
larger houses.
that's,
Mhm.
and yeah, right. And then really big
Mhm.
homes, but I guarantee a majority are coming in these big cities because what we're seeing around here, and I've heard this around the country, are people are leaving the cities because they want to be in the more suburban areas now. They want more land. They want a bigger house. They want to be in the more desirable school districts than being in the city. And that's happened a ton here. People are fleeing Philly
Mhm.
to be out because the school system in Philly is terrible. So unless you have
I live
your
in
kid in
Louisiana. Don't even talk to me about terrible school systems. I think we're out of like the
the
top
public
four.
school system,
Yeah,
yeah,
our
and
public school
Philly's
system is
bad.
like, I think it's like the third worst in the United States.
Yeah. But we have in the suburbs of Philly, we have the best schools in the entire state, and some of the best in the country as well. So people are leaving, especially when they have young kids or they're planning on having kids because they just want more space. They want to be in that more desirable school district too. And that's where I feel like when you talk about price drops, like they're definitely happening in the city, but in the suburbs surrounding the city, not much at all.
Isn't it
And
funny
actually,
how
our luxury market went up. So the luxury market and
Mhm,
this summer, it
mhm.
went up. There's been more activity and more homes sold over $1 million than prior.
But isn't it funny that the area that has the most property taxes has better schools, but then when you live in an area where the prices are dropping and the property taxes are lower, the school system's terrible? I think there should be an even playing field on that too. Like,
Me too.
uh, I think every school system throughout the state should get, everybody gets, their taxes taken out, and all that money should be divided equally between all the school systems. You're in the high school, you get this amount of money. Everybody gets the
Yeah,
same amount of money, but
I
that's just
couldn't
one.
agree more. I could not agree more because my area is so strange because we have a few school districts that
Mhm.
are are unfortunately they're just really bad. And
Mhm.
then literally right next door, like the next school district is one of the best. And it's just like,
Mhm.
how is that even? And the taxes are higher in the lower school districts than they are in the higher ones, which makes no sense to me at all. I have no
Mm.
idea why it is how it is, but it's just strange.
Hiring process, there's numerous reasons why a
Yeah.
school system fails. They allocate funds wrong, but we're talking about real estate, so let's states with the worst school systems. Oh, Eddie, let's tell me where we are in Louisiana. Eddie wants to. The best ones are Massachusetts, Connecticut, Maryland, and I know it's Massachusetts because when I moved to Texas, I was a year ahead of everybody when I was a
Really?
kid. Yeah, and then New Jersey and Wisconsin. Okay, so what are the worst? Let's go. We want to know what the worst ones are. I know Louisiana's got to be on that list. Eddie's gonna scroll all the way down. Keep going, babe. Keep going. We're like the worst. I know that like we're
Wow,
all the
Pennsylvania is rough. 27.
7
Whew.
out of 50 states. You're smack dab in the middle. You're not too bad.
Mhm.
But this is why people move to certain areas is because of the school systems.
Yes.
Mississippi is 43. Oh, look, Louisiana, 47.
47.
I told you.
Nobody's moving there for the schools.
Well,
No one.
but just like, let me just say this. You can rank a state for the school system, but then you have to look at the individual counties. So I happen to live what they call a parish is a county here in Louisiana. The parish I happen to live in has a really good school system. It has a really good one. And that's why this area has grown leaps and bounds since Katrina happened, because people are like, well, where can we go? After that, the hurricane came through, they're like, well, we'll just go up a little bit north and we'll go up to this area. They have better school systems. So my kids tested high.
Have your home values came down, and have you seen a lot of price cuts?
So like in our area, we were on the upward trajectory, but they leveled out and they remained flat for like the longest time, most of last year. And now sellers are a lot more negotiable. They're more aggressive on their pricing. So they're not like aggressive, like they're not pricing it high when they put it on the market. They're pricing it to sell it. And they're more willing to work with people. But again, if you're in that 200 to 300 range or 200 and under, those houses fly off the market.
So you can still get like nice, or like good starter homes in the $200,000 price range where you're at.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Nice.
they were probably built in the 90s, early 2000s. They may needed some work. The biggest problem that we have is that if you have a house that was built at that time and it hasn't had a roof replaced in the last 10 years, you're like, that's where the money comes in. The other thing is that when people start seeing the insurance cost for those specific types of homes, they're very high. Our insurance is extremely high. Like my house is 2,200 square feet. We were quoted $4,200 for homeowners insurance for the year.
Woo. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So
is that like old homes in your area built in the 90s? Are they like, is there ones that are like older?
Oh yeah, we can get homes that are very old. I mean, like they have homes that were built in the 1800s.
Okay.
They're haunted, but they're there. All right. It says we got a question that it said the look back date applies to when you're getting into a nursing home. They look back 5 years and take all your assets and incorporate that into your payment to the nursing home.
Oh, wow.
Again, financial advisor. That is something that I will.
Yeah.
I have no expertise in.
I never heard that. That's really cool. I mean,
thank you for sharing that.
You get the best guests.
Well, I have the best audience.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Dare say,
like they're so smart.
They are, yeah. And then I learned something new from them, and then we all get to hang out. We got really good. We have a good audience. It says, Kristina, tell Babe Eddie to get on camera and say hi. Quick question: have you done any follow up on the Boxabl? Do you know anyone who has received any updates on when they can be purchased? All right. That is the name. Like, I feel like if you watch Harry Potter, that thou shall not be mentioned. Their name shall not be mentioned. I don't talk about the company because I have yet to have seen any person, a legitimate person. I'm not talking about Elon Musk and SpaceX. I want an actual person to have them in their backyard. I have yet to have seen that. For a period of time, temporarily, they were on a area in Arizona. The state came in, walked around them and said, these have not been certified. You did not have them certified. Pick them all up. And in that time, this is what I'm told. I do not know if this is true. This is all rumor mill. During that time, it rained. And they said every single one of those things leaked. I do not know if that is true or not. I have no idea. I'm just repeating what was told to me. I don't know what's going on with that company. I have no idea. I know that there's people that have been on that wait list for 5 years and still do not have one.
Whoa.
Yes.
Did they put money down for a deposit?
Yeah, it's minimal though. I think when it started, I think it was $100 and then it was like 200. I think it's like 500.
Oh, okay. That's good. I'm glad they didn't put big deposits down.
Right. And they have tons of investment, angel investment things that are come up or whatever. I have yet to have seen anybody have one in their backyard. And until that time happens, I will never, ever, 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 never, ever, 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 ever make another video about them until they actually start putting them in people's backyards, when they actually have legitimate people living in them, and not living in them like they just got them, living in them. They've had them for at least 6 to 9 months, because I want to know the durability of them. I mean, they've had one out in the front of their factory, the same one out in the front of the factory forever. But how much maintenance have they had to do on that thing? You know, I don't know.
You should do an investigative video on it. That would be cool.
I mean, I don't even want to talk about them.
That's
anymore.
so strange, because I remember watching that video that you made. I was like, wow, they seem awesome.
They
But
are
I've
cool.
never
They're very
never heard
cool.
of anyone having anything like that around here.
So they were originally like 40,000, then they were 50,000. I think they're like 60 or 70,000. You can't build them for the amount of money that they were charging. So they were taking a loss
Okay.
at the beginning anyway. And I think they did it like a government contract for several of them. I mean, there's lots of them out there. Who is getting them? I have no idea. I have no clue. All I know is that there's people that have been waiting a very long time. It's very frustrating. So until that time, I will not do another video on them until I see an actual house in somebody's yard. All right. My baby boomer parents are holding on to their home because they see how bad the market is, and they want to leave the home to my siblings and I. Yeah. See, that's what I was telling you. I don't think there's going to be this silver tsunami of homes that hit the market. They had predicted, I'm telling you, 10 years ago, that baby boomers were going to start selling their houses all over the place, and they're going to move to warmer, more retirement friendly areas and get rid of these houses. And we're going to have all these older homes that needed to be repaired on the market, and that was going to free up supply. They have been talking about this for over 10 years, and that has yet to come to fruition. And I think they're going to do exactly what that commenter said, is they're holding on to it, knowing that home prices are entirely too expensive for the average person to purchase. And instead of putting on the market to sell it after they're passing, they're going to give it to, family members, because it's just too valuable to do otherwise. That's what I think is going to happen.
The only caveat there that I see in our area is that they're going to die, and their family, if they have kids, those kids might not even live locally, so they just want to sell it and they don't want to deal with it, and it becomes an inherited property. That's the only caveat. But yeah, I mean, again, these big McMansions that they're in, nobody really wants them anymore, because they're just way too unaffordable.
Yeah. Debbie Brady asked a question in the chat, and she asked me if my little tiny home behind my house is a Boxabl. It is not. This was built by a company that doesn't exist anymore, called Backyard Workroom. They were out of Texas. It's made with SIPS construction, which is structural engineered insulated panels, structural insulated panels, and they're connected together. These panels they're like almost like a foam panel. But no, they did not build this. That was Backyard Workroom, but they don't exist anymore. They're a company that came and went. Unfortunately, they had a good product. I don't know what happened there. So anyways, the PR lady says my mom's HOA fee is $512. They started at it started at $350.
Jeez.
Is that a month? I know that, so years ago, I knew this lady, she had a condo, and her HOA fees for her condo were $315 a month. That was back in the early 2000s.
So what are they now?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wonder that's what I'm saying.
Crazy.
I'm like, yeah. So you sure you could buy her condo for $230,000, then you're paying an additional $315 on top of it. Who knows what?
Right.
And then if they didn't keep enough in reserves for roofing and all that other stuff, expensive.
Somebody's in trouble.
Yeah. Margaret says, question, in order to qualify for Medicaid, assets must be under a certain level. They look back 5 years to make sure that those assets weren't given away to clear the asset level. Oh, so they're checking on people, making sure they're not getting rid of their stuff. So I gotcha.
Spying on you.
You can't hide anything anymore.
You cannot hide anything anymore. You're right.
Nope. But yeah, all those questions when it comes to retirement and investing and your real estate, that kind of stuff, I would talk to a financial advisor. I'm just a real estate agent. I'm just a realtor. I'm just a silly realtor. But that's some great insight on that. Thank you. Nice to know.
I would have never knew that.
I know. That's because you're not old enough to
5-year look back.
Now you learn something.
I know, right?
Now you're going to go down a rabbit hole and read all about it, aren't you?
I might.
Well, we got a question from Proud Liberal 24. It says, what percentage of your take-home pay every month should your maximum mortgage be? 30% of your monthly salary? You know, like during the pandemic, people were paying 42% for housing. 42%. They say 28%. That They see the traditional rule is 28% for your monthly gross income. 25% of your net income should go towards your mortgage. To get a mortgage, borrowers
that's not even happening anymore.
I know. Good luck with that. To get a mortgage, borrowers need to consider their regular outgoing debts. Most lenders allow debt to income ratio up to 43%, but prefer a 36%, meaning your monthly obligation should be around 1/3 of your gross income. Yep.
I feel like you'd be lucky to get that right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, depending on your income.
Right.
Yep. Eddie, I already said that. 28%. I said that already. He's zooming in like I didn't say it. He wasn't even listening.
He's double highlighting it for us.
Yeah, he just wants me to be very clear. Like, look at this, Kristina. I'm making it big so everybody can see it. Poor Eddie. He gets picked on every day. He lives in a house full of women. So
do I. So do I. I get picked on every day too.
Everybody's calling him big in the chat. All right. Question for Sean. Sean, they got a question.
Oh, I got a personalized question.
Yes. Will a bank loan on a half acre with a remodeled mobile home grandfathered into Chester County neighborhood of 5 to 10 acres and 450 plus homes? Will a bank
Is the
loan
house for sale?
Will a bank loan on that?
Normally banks don't loan on mobile homes.
But I'll tell you this, if the land is worth it, what they'll do is they'll do a loan on the land and the mobile home will be considered at no value.
Okay. Very interesting.
So all you're purchasing is the land. The actual mobile home is considered at no value and it isn't on the loan documents at all.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know if you're obviously the expert on that arena, mobile homes, but up here, I'm pretty sure I don't know. I don't think it's an actual bank that does mobile home loans. It's kind of like getting a car loan.
Well, no.
It is a bank, but it's not like a traditional mortgage lender that you get a loan from.
Wrong. All right, everybody, we're going to help Sean understand this a little bit. Okay, so there's different loan products. It isn't like a traditional FHA 30-year fixed rate mortgage, right? If you're buying a manufactured house, they have different loan products, and they're like the loan terms are like 21 years, and usually you can get those through a like 21st Mortgage, Vanderbilt Mortgage. And you get them through your local credit unions. I always tell people, I tell everybody in my audience, the best rates you're going to get and the best terms you're going to get, most likely, in most cases, are going to be from your local credit union. Those national banks like Wells Fargo used to do those loans. They no longer do them. But like Bank of America, Loan Depot, any of those, they don't do them at all.
Right.
But yeah, so you can get it is still an FHA loan, but the terms are going to look different. It's not going to be your typical 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Now, that all changes if the house, the manufactured home, happens to be the title has the land in that title as well. So, it's 123 West Street. The manufactured home and the land are rolled in together on the title. You can buy that with a 30-year fixed rate mortgage.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of the mobile homes in my area, they're part of communities. So the land is
Right.
leased. So from because I've sold a couple and I've helped a couple people buy them, and it's always through it's not through a traditional mortgage lender that we would use. It was always through someone who specializes in mobile home financing.
Correct. Right. Yeah. Then and you would want to work with somebody that understands mobile homes.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
the terms are different. So
Yep.
this is a great screen name. It says, "Listen, ha 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 ha." Question, kind of off topic. Can a seller who has received several bids pick who to sell the home to, or is it anonymous? Does the seller ever meet those making the offers? Did they ever meet those?
They pick, yeah, that I've never seen a seller and a buyer meet unless the buyer happened to be touring the home and the seller was there by accident.
Right. Yeah,
Can a seller who has received pick who to sell the home to? Yeah. So the
absolutely.
seller, yeah, that's you as the seller, you pick who you want to sell the home to, and
Mhm.
you can base it off of the best price, the best terms, and sometimes people base it off of
Stupidity.
what I've seen a lot is they look people up.
I know. They'll look them up on
Uh-huh.
Facebook. They
Yep.
do. They'll look them up on Facebook. I was just about to say that. And the other thing too is like, they're like, hold on, I went to high school with them. I don't think he has two
Yeah.
nickels to rub together. I didn't even know he had a job. Who's buying it? Who's the loan
Yep.
under? I want to see their pre-approval letter. It could be it could be as simple as decision of how many days it is before they want to close, or if they do or don't want the price could have been exactly the same, but the terms
Mhm.
of that contract look different. So that's why the seller can pick it. There's a million reasons why a seller picks a certain offer over another one. I even had one seller years ago didn't pick the highest offer. They picked the one that was going to close sooner because they felt more confident in it, because the one
Right.
that was offering more seems absolutely ridiculous. And so in their minds, and I told them this, they were like, they're basing it high, and they're going to ask for a bunch of stuff on the other end, so that way we'll come down on price and we're already under contract with them. No, I'm not
Yeah.
doing that. I'm going with the people that are being realistic. And so they went with that, even though they were offered more money in
Yeah.
the beginning.
I heard of one recently from a friend where the seller had a house in a really hot area,
Hmm.
multiple offers. They decided to not go with the highest one, but they decided to go with the buyer. The buyer that they chose, one of their family members lived close by. So they were buying to be close to their family. So the
Hmm.
seller was like, I want to sell to them because I want them to be closest to their family, even though it wasn't the highest price. They just
Right.
felt it was just like, I don't feel bad for these people, but I feel for these people. I want them to be able to be close to their family. This is great. So I'm going to go with their offer. So it's not always money at the end of the
Hmm.
day. Sellers make very emotional decisions sometimes. And this is a rare case, but it definitely happens.
I've had sellers not want. They're like, I'm not selling to a corporation. Like, I'm not
Hmm.
no
Oh yeah.
LLCs,
No
no
LLCs. Yep.
Yep, they'll say that, like, I'm not. I'll look at what they have to say, but I'm not selling to them. I've had that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but like, you remember, everybody in the audience may remember this. There was a thing for a while that people would add love letters to their offer.
Hmm.
Do you know what I'm talking
Still
about?
do. Oh, they
You're
still
not
do.
supposed to do that.
I know. Fair housing.
I know you can, like, love letters are not supposed to be sent over with the offer. I mean, you have to present them if they're put there, but you're not supposed to do it.
Hmm.
So, anyways, Muddy Sneaker 77 has a question and says, real estate is not affordable for most since equity is where most build wealth. What other alternatives do you recommend to build wealth for the younger generation?
Can we answer that, or do we just stick to?
You can do it. You can
Yeah,
answer
I
it.
think a Roth IRA is probably one of the best avenues
Mhm,
for younger people. And I am not an investment specialist at all, so I would
mhm.
definitely reach out to a financial advisor. But I think Roth IRAs are a good way for the younger generation to build wealth.
High yield
You can,
savings accounts.
yeah, high yield savings accounts, and
Mhm.
I think with a Roth, you can put in a certain amount of money a month, and you want to put it into um, something that's more not like high risk. Actually, for younger people, I think they do say to do something a little bit more high risk, and then as the older you get, then reduce the risk. But
Yep.
besides, I mean, I still think real estate's the best way, but I completely understand. You can find discounted properties. You can find properties that need work that you can build wealth into and build
Mhm.
equity into. That's not the average buyer, though. The average buyer does not know what they're doing when it comes to that. But you know,
You can
I
find
teach it.
like if you weren't interested in getting in, say you had a clump of money and you happen to live in an area that is expanding and has been expanding for the last 10 years, and there's a lot of raw land around. Buy the raw land and don't do a thing to it.
Mhm.
Just hold on to it. That happens around here all the time. And
Yeah.
they're people that have big tracts of land because their parents bought it a gazillion years ago, right? And then they go to sell it for, to a land developer. Or the land developer comes to me and comes to them and says, "We have all these 6 acres, but we need your 3. We're going to offer you this," and they'll sit on. They're like, "Nope, you can build around it," and then they'll just keep offering them money until they give it to them.
Yeah.
Until they give them their price,
Can
and
you
then
buy land for cheap around you?
you used to be able to, like, you
Not
could buy
anymore.
at one point when I first moved here, you could buy half an acre for $30,000.
Wow.
Yeah, that doesn't exist anymore. Not even close.
No, not
Nope.
even close.
Nope, not even close. But all those people that around here that have had family land, they're holding on to it. And then like I said, somebody comes along and they get a good price because, their great grandpappy bought it for like 10 cents an acre,
Yeah.
and then they got 30 acres. They do it. Oh, Onyx says, "I just saw Sean's video the other day, actually." Oh, fantastic.
Wow. That's
Look at
cool.
you. You got a fan.
Getting out
Sean's
there.
got a brand new channel. I've been helping him with his channel. I don't anybody that's a real estate agent in the audience, I have a little side hustle where I help real estate agents build up their YouTube channel. So it's Real Estate Video Geeks. So I help them build their YouTube channels so they can have success on YouTube like I have because I'm a giver.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Your audience is awesome.
I know.
You got all these people on actually like talking to you. That's so cool.
Oh, I know. Hey, Eddie, you know what I want you to do, Eddie? Can you put that phone number up again? So anybody in the chat, if you want to try this out, please do. So the number is 1-888-255-0199. It's an AI assisted answering service. They're going to ask for your name and where you live. Then they're going to ask you your real estate question. You ask a real estate related question. If you don't, it's going to tell you, please stick to real estate. And then it will let you go. I just want to see how many people actually can use this system. So that way, when you leave that message, I'm going to use the audio for next week because it's going to be like a call-in show, but you've already left it on the answering service. I'm going to take that audio, put it up on here so we can listen to it. It may or may not work. Like I said, this is a brand new system. We're just testing it out. I literally just plugged this in 2 days ago. So it has some bugs that need to be worked out, but I'd love for anybody that could test it, if they would test it, and let me know in the chat if it's working for you. That'd be great. Thank you. Thank you. SB has a question. What does attached a love letter mean to the offer? Oh, so you would put in this offer, and you'd say, we just absolutely love your house, dear seller. Your house is just going to fit exactly what we need. We have 2.5 kids and a little dog that we just got for the rescue, and we just wanted to make sure that little Timmy could be in the best neighborhood and go to the best schools. And you put in your sob story into your offer, so they choose your offer over the other guy.
Yep, pulling at their heartstrings.
They're pulling at their heartstrings.
It worked for me. It worked for me in 2018.
Yeah, until they told you stop doing that. You can't do that anymore.
And then eventually it was like, yeah, let's not do this anymore.
You're And then I've had people say, can we put in a love letter? I'm like, well, let's not. Let's not.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I think it will work. Well, I'll do it, but I don't think that's going to work out for you, you know? So, no. I want to say thank you to all the moderators that have kept the chat clean. I want to say thank you to Sean. Thank you so much. If you want to listen to this, Sean, and share this with your friends and family, I actually have this as a podcast. You can go to anywhere you listen to podcasts. Go to Kristina Smallhorn, Real Estate for Everyone. On any of the podcast sites, my podcast will be there. This will be actually published on Monday, so you can share that with your friends and family. And if you want to share it on YouTube, you can as well. Everybody, did anybody get to test that the 888 number? I want to know. Did anybody get a chance to test that 888 number? Oh, here. If you guys need to get a hold of me, you can just go to my website, KristinaSmallhorn.com. You can ask your real estate related question, or if you happen to need a real estate agent in your area, if I have one, I will find one for you. But please leave your phone number so I can give you a call. We could talk about your real estate needs. You can hit any of the pink buttons, hit any of them, fill out all of your information, leave your phone number so I can give you a little ringy dingy ding. So, Sean, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Look at this. Sean
thank you for having me.
Look at this. Sean Connors, real estate broker right there in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Sean, you got to have another real estate conference. I want to go out there and talk to your peeps out there.
I will. Well, we're going to start one, right? You and Joe, I'll help on the social.
Yeah.
I would love that.
That'd be
I'll
amazing.
be a part of it.
Awesome. If there's anything you guys want to talk about next week, please make sure once this video is published, put it in the comment section and we can discuss it next week. So everybody, I want to say thank you so much. Eddie has a closing theme song. So don't run away just yet. Listen to the new closing theme song, Eddie. Let it run. Because I liked this one. He was playing with it. These are the theme songs that we never write. AI writes them for us.
Kristina signing off. This dream's about to close. Tiny homes, big dreams, the wisdom she bestows. Real estate queen, always keeping us in toes.
Queen.
Hustle on 1,000, every vibe she shows. Goodbye, Kristina, see you next time. In a world full of chaos, you bring the prime. From modular homes to the mortgage climb. Catch you on the flip in the next rhyme. From mobile homes to mansion goals.